So we've already had a discussion about the relegation battle in the Championship next season, but how about the promotion race in League One? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Plenty of big sides down in League One at the moment, all battling for promotion, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look into the latest odds for who the bookies fancy as the favourites for promotion. Now if you do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, and if you'd like to see a little bit more of League One content throughout the season, then do show your support on today's video. But I'd be interested to know from you guys, who are you fancying for promotion at this stage? Your two automatic sides and your one team through the playoffs. Let me know down below. But without any further ado, let's jump in. Starting out in 10th place, the bookies currently have Wycombe. They were there or thereabouts in the playoff hunt last season, finished 9th in League One, ultimately 8 points short of the playoffs. What cost them in the end was a little bit of an inconsistent start and finish to the season. A little bit of turbulence in there as well, with Gareth Ainsworth obviously leaving towards the end of the season. They lost Mehmeti in January as well, who was a really big player for them. So once again, the bookies are expecting Wycombe to be there or thereabouts, but they don't quite have them bridging that gap into the top 6 right now. Coming in 9th place, the bookies then have Oxford with promotion odds of 5-1. Now, last season, by their own standards, was quite the underachievement by Oxford. In 3 of the last 4 seasons they finished in the top 8 of League One. 2 of those campaigns they finished in the playoffs, but last season finished as low as 19th in the end. Now plenty changed throughout the season, obviously Carl Robinson departing, Liam Manning coming in, and whether or not Manning can get this squad back up and challenging next season, it remains to be seen. It's already been quite a positive start to their transfer window, it has to be said. Jordan Thornley coming in on a free transfer from Blackpool, and Ruben Rodriguez as well coming in from Notts County, a player who a lot of people are excited about at the moment. And I mean, with a promising manager like Manning at the helm, I think a lot of people are expecting Oxford to shoot up the table compared to where they finished last season, but the bookies doesn't quite see them bridging that gap between themselves and the top 6. Coming in 8th place, the bookies then have Charlton with promotion odds of 9-2. Now Charlton were there or thereabouts in the promotion race, certainly in the top 6 hunt until around October last season. After that they dropped like a stone after a really poor run of form. They did recapture things towards the end of the season, ultimately finishing 10th in the table, but for too long now Charlton have been sort of languishing in mid-table in League One, and they want to have that proper consistent run at the top 6 since their relegation from the Championship. They've not had a top 6 finish. Will this season be the year? Well, the bookies fancies them to just fall short again. Into 7th place, the bookies then have Blackpool just missing out on the top 6, obviously freshly relegated from the Championship. There is a lot to do at Bloomfield Road, I feel, between now and the end of the season. The players they released, including players who have returned to their loan club. Blackpool have lost 18 players from their squad last season, so there is plenty of work to do. And while there is a skeleton of a decent League One side at their disposal at the moment, I think there are some key areas that they need to upgrade. I think midfield's a big one for Blackpool going into this summer, given the players they've lost and how light they look in that position at the moment. And obviously the other position is up front. What's going to happen with Jerry Yates? I think it's more than likely that he will leave this summer, and I actually don't think that could be a bad thing for Blackpool. I think if they get the right figure for him, manage to then reinvest some of that money that they get for Yates into the rest of the squad, I think that's how they go about this League One rebuild in sort of a sensible manner. But obviously not everything works out that way, and it depends when they get Yates out the door and what money actually comes in for him in the end. But we are expecting plenty of Championship interest there. Blackpool obviously back with Neil Critchley, whether or not he can work his magic with that side again in League One and get them up through the playoffs, it remains to be seen. The bookies, as things stand, just have them falling short, but I feel like their odds could fluctuate quite a bit between now and the start of the season, depending on what business they do. Coming in 6th place, the bookies then have Portsmouth with promotion odds of 3-1. Now, for ages it seemed like Portsmouth have been in and amongst the playoff hunt in League One, but they've never quite been able to go that one step further and actually achieve that. In their last 6 consecutive seasons, Portsmouth have finished in the top 10 of League One, with 2 of those finishes being inside the top 6, both 4th on those occasions. It does feel like they're close to recapturing that at the moment. They ended last season really quite strong, only 2 defeats in their last 18 matches, obviously with John Mousinho coming in January. And I mean, I know they drew a hell of a lot of matches in that final run in towards the end of the season, but it's a good run of form, good bit of momentum. I think they've already got 4 new players in through the door already in this transfer window, so things are gearing up for Portsmouth to maybe take that one step further this time around. And with promotion odds of 3-1, the bookies certainly fancy them to be there or thereabouts. In 5th place, the bookies then have Peterborough with promotion odds of 3-1, and to be honest, I was a little bit surprised that they had Peterborough higher up than some of those other sides who the bookies have got below them at the moment, just because it seems like such a big rebuild is on the horizon with that squad heading into this summer. Following the conclusion of the playoffs, several players have been made available for transfer. 9 players put on the transfer list in the end, including Johnson Clark-Harris. It'll be interesting to see how much money they do get for him and whether or not he gets his move to potentially a championship club. But I mean, last season was just bonkers from a Peterborough perspective. To sneak into the playoffs on the final day in the manner of which they did, the first leg against Sheffield Wednesday, and then to completely implode in the second leg. I mean, I've never seen anything like that, but feels like a lot of work needs to be done this summer at Peterborough, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were languishing a little bit while they rebuild and then properly went for it the year after maybe. Coming in 4th place, the bookies then have Barnsley, also with promotion odds of 3-1. Now, this is where Barnsley obviously finished last season, went so close to touching promotion but just missed out to Sheffield Wednesday in that playoff final. The biggest thing I think from Barnsley's perspective is keeping Michael Duff at the club, and it seems as if that will happen going into next season. There were a few rumblings of some championship clubs interested, and it's no wonder to see why after the job he managed to do at Barnsley last season, picking up all the pieces and putting together a really quite formidable squad for League One. But as all those championship vacancies are slowly starting to be filled, it does seem as if he will be at Barnsley next season, which is obviously great news for those fans. If they manage to keep together the vast majority of that squad that made it to the playoff final last season and add on top of it with some sensible bits of recruitment, absolutely no reason why they won't be there or thereabouts again, maybe even pushing a little bit higher towards the top 2. In 3rd place, the bookies then have Reading with promotion odds of 11-4. Now, it just feels like there's so much to do at Reading between now and the start of the season that they're a little bit of an impossible prediction to make right now. It seemed at one point as if Chris Wilder was absolutely nailed on for the job, and that would have been maybe a decent one for both him and the club. Wilder looking to rebuild his reputation back in League One with a freshly relegated side like Reading, but that move has since collapsed, and Reading are now weighing up their other options, the likes of Danny Cowley and Steve Cottrell. I've seen linked of late, but I'm sure that managerial search will continue to go on over these next few days. And in terms of the playing squad, now I can see why the bookies may have Reading there. They're deemed to come down to League One as the strongest championship outfit, having, you know, picked up more points last season than the likes of Blackpool and Wigan. But we've already seen a lot of players leaving that squad, a lot of players who are contracted into next season seem to have quite cheap relegation release clauses. That's certainly the case with Tom Ince, and so they're left with a little bit of a threadbare looking squad at the moment without a manager and much of a plan going into this League One season. So obviously a lot can change between now and the start of the season, but it does feel as if all the stars would have to align right now for Reading to be right up there and challenging, and it could be quite the rebuild instead in League One. But claiming that first automatic spot based on the bookies odds at the moment, they do have Bolton Wanderers. Now, Bolton under Ian Evatt have made 3 consistent years of progress, and I mean the next natural destination for them to go if they were to progress on last season's finish would be a spot in the top 2. Finished 5th last season, really solid year for them, picked up 81 points, and in a usual League One season, 81 points would get you considerably closer to the top 2 than it did last season. It just so happened that we had, you know, 3 outstanding sides in League One last season with Plymouth, Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday all getting above 90 points, which is absolutely ridiculous. So Bolton, if they carry on with their current trajectory, I certainly think it's quite realistic that they would be in and around those playoff spots. Sensible recruitment we've seen over these last few years, and if they continue to top up that squad with Evatt at the helm, no reason why they can't be brushing it with the top 2. But coming in as the outright favourites for the League One title next season, the bookies do have Derby County with promotion odds of 7-4. Now, I'll be interested to hear from some Derby fans whether or not you echo those thoughts of the bookmakers right now, and how confident are you feeling heading into next season. Obviously just missed out on the top 6 after that final day drama, missing out to Peterborough in the end, but Derby, I mean, their squad went through a massive overturn last season, and there is a little bit more consistency now with Paul Warne in the helm, obviously a manager who definitely knows how to get out of League One, but can they deliver when they have that, that more weight of expectation on their shoulders next season? It remains to be seen. There's certainly three juggernauts who have gone out of League One this season, and comparing the three promoted sides to the three that are coming down from the Championship, I do think sides like Derby could see quite a jump up in the table. Time will tell on that one. But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did go into enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and do get your thoughts down below with who you think are going to be battling it up there in the League One promotion mix. Be interested to get some shouts in there. Apart from that though guys, that will now wrap it up for today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one.